listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
It's Oh Behave with Arden Moore, the show that teaches you how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Join Arden as she travels coast to coast to help millions better understand why cats and dogs do what they do. Get the latest scoop on famous faces, their perfectly pampered pets, and who's walking who in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails. Garner great pet tips and have a doggone fur-flying fun time. So get ready for the pause and applause as we unleash your Oh Behave host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome to the Oh Behave show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. This episode is quite timely. It's a perfect time to acknowledge the small joys, the small triumphs of life. Instead of fretting about conquering a mountain of, must-dos, our two special guests today exemplify one of the best connections any one of us can have on this planet. That connection, that special bond between a person and a dog. Today's show is a real welcome reality check for all of us who get frustrated by bad hair days or having our patience tested by rush hour traffic. It is my honor to introduce our special guest. First, give pause and applause to Carol Roquemore, founder of Canine Support Teams. This is a can-do group that trains service dogs. And give a great salute of gratitude to Vanessa Lerma Jones, who served not one or two, but count them, 4 tours of duty in Iraq as a Navy corpsman. Welcome to the show, Carol and Vanessa.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and I'm going to count how many times Vanessa calls me ma'am because she's been in the military for a while. But we're going to find out what that's all about. But we're going to take a commercial break first. And when we come back, we're going to discover the connection between these two individuals and the wonderful world of service dogs. So sit and stay. We'll be right back.
Time for a pause. 4 furry ones, actually. Sit and stay. Oh Behave will be right back.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your 4-legged fashions today. Your pets will stay warm for the winter and be runway ready. Large or small, we fit them all. DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com. Oh Behave is back with more tail-wagging ways to achieve harmony in the household with your pets. Now, back to your fetching host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. As mentioned, our guests today are Carol Roquemore. She is the founder of Canine Support Teams. This is a service dog organization that's based in Menifee, California. And she's joined by Vanessa Lerma Jones, a military veteran who's now taking pre-med classes, I guess, at Loma Linda University. So we're not going to keep our listeners in suspense anymore, Carol. Please go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. Well, I'm talking figuratively here, not literally, listeners. And explain the link that you and Vanessa share.
Well, hello, Arden. Thank you for having us on your show. I met Vanessa through our Paws for Wounded Veteran program. And that's a program that was founded approximately 2 years ago, where Canine Support Teams places assistance dogs with returning wounded veterans, whether they are wheelchair-bound, have a disability caused from their tour of duty, or return with PTSD.
And let's explain to the people who don't know what that stands for.
Post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Okay.
And I could go further if you need me to, but that's...
Yeah, so...
If you're in an extremely stressful environment, such as a war, where you're seeing constantly things that people shouldn't be seeing, and you're experiencing things that people don't normally experience on a daily, hourly, minute-by-minute basis, then it can affect you in a way that you're not able to function when you return back to whatever normal life is. We have found, and it has been medically proven, that animals, dogs in particular, can help reduce the stress that is caused from this condition.
And that's where I want to jump in with Vanessa, if I may. Vanessa, give us a little bit of brief background on your military service, and now you're in pre-med, but what made you join the Navy in the first place?
I always knew, ever since I was a little girl, that I wanted to join the military, but whenever I was in high school, I had an ROTC instructor at my high school who was a retired Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, and he just became a very inspirational person and took the place of my father because my father passed away when I was 14, so I went into high school still grieving, and he took me under his wing and taught me a lot about being a person of honor, and he just really encouraged me and helped me make up my mind to join, and he was actually my inspiration behind it.
And let's go ahead and shout out his name to our listeners.
His name is Sergeant Major Jerry L. Ham, United States Marine Corps retired.
All right, Jerry, you've done good, it sounds like, with this young lady. So he inspires you to join and you didn't go with the Marines? He's with the Marines. What made you pick the Navy? And well, I'm happy because my brother spent 20 years in the Navy, so he just got out. So I like all branches, but you know, if it's a Navy Army football game, I have to cheer for Navy.
I feel the same way. The reason I joined the Navy is because the Marine Corps doesn't have medical occupation specialty to it because they're all considered combatants. So medical personnel are considered non-combatants and therefore are not supposed to engage in direct fire, I'll say. Okay. And so I wanted to go into the medical field, and second best would be the Navy, and it turned out to be a really good experience because I was able to do all of my tours with Marines.
Oh, well, there you go. Worked out.
Mm-hmm. It did.
All right. So you were in Iraq 4 times, was I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you started back in 2001, I guess. So that's pretty quick.
No, I joined the military in 2001. My first deployment was in 2003, March of 2003, right when President Bush declared war.
Oh, okay.
After that, I deployed again in 2004 into 2005. Mm-hmm. After that tour, I did another one in 2006, and my last tour was from 2008 to 2009. How
come so many in Iraq 4 tours?
I really don't know. I guess I was at the right place at the right time, and my name was always on the list. So all I could do was pack my bags and go.
All right, and we're going to get into the connection with you and your service dog. It's Booker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're in the war, and you tell me what you feel comfortable sharing, but it does make you grow up fast, I guess. And from what I understand and reading about your story, it wasn't very pretty. So if you can, share a little bit about your experience and how you were really being helped this day by the canine support teams that Carol's group runs.
Well, a lot of it, like Carol was saying, a lot of the things that you experience while deployed overseas, whether it's to Iraq or Afghanistan or any combat zone, depending on the tempo of the operation, you are exposed to constant gunfire, incoming rounds, just conditions that you wouldn't see every day, sleep deprivation, constantly on guard, having to be vigilant of your surroundings, and you lose a lot of trust in your environment because you have to. And so one of the worst parts of my service, it was a good experience, but the situation was in 2004 when the city of Fallujah was assaulted. And just a lot of experiences with dead and wounded, our allies and Iraqis alike. And you come back with a lot of things staying in your mind. And that's where I had trouble, and a lot of service members have trouble with, because it's not something that you can forget right away. I don't think it's something that you can ever forget. And it's not always easy to cope with these things because they're constantly in your mind. And when you come back to the United States, you come back home, but you're not as comfortable as you used to be.
I understand you had nightmares.
I actually still do have nightmares. That's something that I deal with on a regular basis. And a lot of the treatment for it is not 100% effective, because how do you control your mind? You know, it's not one set way that medical people can say, okay, if you don't want to have a bad dream, this is what you do. It's the human psyche. You see something that causes a great impression on you, whether it's good or bad, and it's just going to stay with you. Because I have so many nightmares, I don't have very good quality sleep. I always feel threatened. I feel like somebody's going to hurt me, or somebody's going to do some type of attack, or just always feeling edgy towards people, especially in crowds, or just when I'm around something or somebody that I don't know, that I'm not familiar with.
Okay.
It's a little difficult to explain because it's different for everybody, but for the most part, I guess I could say for me it's just anxiety, like threatening anxiety.
Well, it's a very serious condition that you're not taking lightly, which you are seeming to address. And that's where I wanted to ask Carol, you know, when I think of a service dog, I'm thinking sometimes of somebody that may have a physical limitation. And canine support teams, it's my understanding that you help out people with disabilities for everything except, obviously, the people that may be blind. So here's a great soldier that has given many tours of duty and having these terrible nightmares with post-traumatic stress disorder. I like the idea that you're able to pair her up with a service dog. So can you talk a little bit about Booker and how you were able to reach out to Vanessa?
Yes. She came to us and applied to our program, and upon interviewing her, we felt that she was a great candidate and that we could possibly help her. So we went ahead and we sought out a dog that we felt would best suit her needs.
Okay.
We teamed her with Booker, who is a black lab, and I chose Booker because a black dog is a deterrent, even though he is one of the friendliest dogs you'll ever meet.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a deterrent, a visual deterrent to people, so people tend to not approach as much,
okay,
which is one of the things that I wanted to help Vanessa with, so that she didn't have to constantly, if you've got a dog with you and it's a golden retriever, they're going to run toward you with open arms and go, I want to love your dog. And this way, that won't happen quite as much, even though it does happen at times. Also, when she's out and about, it deters people from approaching her. His demeanor is such, he's a large dog. His power of presence, for want of a better word, is such that any, let's say, wrongdoer might think twice before approaching, because they wouldn't know how the dog was trained. We absolutely never train our dogs to be, for want of a better word, attack dogs or biters or anything like that. But the visual deterrent is what we're looking for. The second thing is he's a very loving dog, and I wanted Vanessa to be able to reach out to the dog for support when she felt panicky or when she felt uneasy. And he was certainly one of those dogs that you could do that with. He loves touch, and she can touch him from a standing position, or she can kneel down and actually put her arms around him.
Vanessa, let's talk now. You've got Booker. When did you get Booker? And Carol did a wonderful job. I love that term, visual deterrent. It's all about perception. Even though he's a love muffin and he's very well trained, does he give you a little bit of peace of mind from his physical standpoint?
He has actually done so much for me because I had a lot of anger and just ugly feelings. I can't explain it. Never seemed to be in a good mood. Always just slightest thing would set me off and make me mad. And it was just it's a bad place. And ever since I got Booker, and I believe it was in May, if you looked at his face, you can't see mad at him. It gives me a reason not to be angry or to kind of like let things slide by. Even when I do have episodes of anger, which are another symptom of people with PTSD, I just look at him and he gives me big old eyes and a big black nose, and I can't do anything but smile at him, and I start petting him, and it does feel soothing. It's very therapeutic for me to have him around, and especially when I go out, whether it's to a restaurant or to the mall. He just serves as a really good companion, and I have him in my car all the time. I don't have time to start having negative thoughts because I'm either constantly talking to him or he's nudging his nose on my arm, and he serves as a big distraction for me, not to concentrate on other thoughts.
That's very well put. I just want to reach out and give you both a hug. It sounds like he's quite a great dog. How old is Booker?
He's about 3.5 years old, and he's pretty large.
Yeah, how large?
He's about 95 pounds right now.
Okay, so I can just see you walking into a restaurant with this big black lab. Do you get the best seat in the house or what?
I like to think so, yes.
Yeah.
And Carol was talking about that he serves as a deterrent from people approaching me, and it's so funny because he's had quite the opposite effect, which really has helped me because I avoided people. I didn't particularly like people approaching me or asking me questions or anything like that, just because of that threatening feeling. And people just flood to him when they see him. And it forces me to interact with people, which is something that I hadn't been able to do on my own for a very long time because of my symptoms. So he's really helped me a whole lot.
Well, it sounds like you're right. I mean, if you don't feel forced with him around, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, Carol, with your group, there's a lot of different service groups. What I really like about yours is you seem to be small and mighty. You started this, I guess, back in 1989, and you yourself had some challenging health issues with growing up. If you wanted to let people know what inspired you to start this service group.
Well, I had polio when I was 4 years old. I was diagnosed with MS about, I guess we're going on 3 years ago. I was a dog trainer for many years, and I actually did train attack dogs from a wheelchair.
Wow,
and
that's a skill.
I was an agitator, and I did not like the methodologies that went with that. So I started studying dog behavior and started doing basic obedience. This was just a little bit before clickers and positive reinforcement became so popular. Once those things came into play, I snatched onto those immediately and started to do that. Obtained a dog and trained it to be my service dog. And I was growing weaker and going from a manual chair into a power chair. People would see this dog and would want to know where they can get one just like it. And I was no longer able to do the training on my own because of my own physical challenges. So I sought out the help of other people. And, one thing leads to another, and I realized that I needed to form a nonprofit. The nonprofit was formed from a credit card.
Wow.
And here we are 22, 23 years later, and it's just, we are small but mighty. We don't have a fancy facility. We do have one. All the money that comes in goes towards the training and care and provision of these dogs to people that need them. And I think we do a wonderful work. I have a great staff of people with me, and they kind of all get scared when I say I have an idea. Because we have, we've started the first prison pup program in the state of California at the California Institution for Women.
Okay, well, if we can, Carol, I need to take a commercial break right now. I want to get into that prison program and talk a little bit more with you both. So you're listening to the O Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. We're going to be back with Carol Roquemore and Vanessa Lerma-Jones and all about the canine support teams right after this break. So sit and stay. We'll be right back.
Time for a walk on the red carpet, of course. O Behave will be back in a flash right after these messages.
If you ask the question, what do I want? What do I need? I'll take affection. I really should mention I need time. I need love. I crave attention. Listen, you're waiting by the door with shaking tails and happy hearts and running circles round the floor. That's always when the party starts. Oh, they are my friends. They are my children. They are the furry elders and kids. They are my family. They understand me. That's how I love my pets.
I Love My Pets, the new single by Mark Winter, available on iTunes.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets.
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi, this is world champion poker player Annie Duke telling you to tune in to Arden Moore and her O Behave show on Pet Life Radio.
We're back from the lot. Just checked the paper and we had a record showing at the box. The letterbox, that is. Now back to O Behave. Here's Arden.
Welcome back to the O Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. You're listening to Arden Moore, and we are having our two special guests, Carol Roquemore and Vanessa Lerma-Jones. As we're talking to Carol, she is the founder of Canine Support Teams. It's based in California, and one of the lucky dog recipients, I guess, Vanessa, is you, and you got that great dog, Booker, helping you going out and about and getting back after your distinguished service in the Navy. Carol, you were talking about how your group is small but mighty. There's a couple other things that distinguish you from some other groups on service dogs. It's my understanding, trying to get placement can be kind of tricky, and there's a lot of cost involved in getting these dogs to be properly trained and paired with the right person.
Yes, there is. We have estimated that each dog costs our program somewhere around $15,000 to $16,000.
Wow.
So those funds must be raised somewhere. So we're constantly doing begathons, fundraisers, grants, and getting support from our local communities, and we certainly do need more. The Prison Pup Program has provided us with 20 free inmate trainers who are of the quality of what I would call in my program here a senior instructor. There is a 0 recidivism rate for each person who has been in our program at the California Institution for Women. If they leave and they are released, they go on to do positive things in the community versus returning because they've done something not so positive.
Carol, if you could backtrack, how long have you had this prison pup program?
I believe it's been in place now for nearly 7 years.
Okay, and again, I've been in prison before, and honest, I didn't do anything. You know, they all say that. But I did a prison pup program earlier, a couple years ago on the show in Nevada, and I was blown away by the people that were getting the opportunity while they're serving their sentences to be able to train a dog. And I'm thinking that sure beats having to scoop out the, you know, the tater tots, if you will, in the food line, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it really does give them an opportunity to positively give something back to their communities. And that's something that I hear almost every time that I go in, is that, you know, we can't ever change what we've done, but we can give back. And that's what they continue to do. So we have altogether around 60 to 70 women in our program there. We also have a youth at risk program at the Southwest Juvenile Hall, which we use shelter dogs. So we take in shelter dogs, and the youth will train them in basic obedience, behavior modification, and get them ready for positive rehoming. It's about a 6-week course, and one of our trainers goes in and teaches every week, and then we have a graduation ceremony, and the dogs are adopted and rehomed into approved homes. We have a pretty rigid adoption procedure, and so that's a very positive program. And then we have the Paws for Wounded Veterans program.
Wow, that's 3 great areas, that audiences and groups that you're reaching: kids, prisoners, and the people in the military. I mean, that's a pretty wide net for a small group.
Yes, and we've opened it up here within the past year to include children with autism and other kinds of disabilities that are very, very hard to team a dog with. And we've been very successful in doing that, so we're opening that door up a little bit more next year.
Well, I know one of your dog graduates, Ike.
Yes.
Yeah, Ike is belongs to Jennifer Blanchard, and I hope she's going to listen to the show. She said she would, and I met her through a group called Leash Your Fitness, and Ike is awesome. He is the best behaved dog in our class, and he behaves better than most of us two-leggers, too. Jennifer behaves okay, but Ike is always, you can count on Ike to be doing the right thing, and she is so grateful to you guys because she says she's gotten her life back.
Yeah, she's a great gal, and he is a great dog.
And Vanessa, you got out of the Navy. When did you end your service?
My service, I was honorably discharged in January of this year.
Okay.
And I've been in school ever since at Loma Linda University, and in my senior year now. So a lot of good things happening, and I also am very, very grateful to Carol and everything that her organization does. I have had pretty much tried everything to help me with symptoms, whether it was medication or electrotherapy and so on and so forth. And so far, I will say that my dog has been the most effective treatment. So I'm also extremely, extremely thankful to her.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. What's your goals now once you get out of pre-med? What's your plans?
Well, I would like to apply to a physician's assistant school and to medical school, and we will see which one I get accepted to first.
All right. Well, we're keeping our paws crossed for you because I think it'd be great to see you and Booker going down the hallway at some medical school, and if the doctors give you a look or something, I don't know, it's kind of nice to have
he actually goes to work with me every day in a medical clinic, and he does really, really good. He stands right behind the check-in counter and follows me around while I put patients in their rooms, and everybody just loves him, and they can't believe that he's such a well-behaved dog, and he follows me everywhere. So he, in a way, gives therapy to the patients that come in to see us.
So he's got pretty good bedside manner, you'd say.
Yes, he does. Excellent.
All right. Manner. We're speaking with Carol Roquemore. She's the founder of Canine Support Teams, and Vanessa Lerma-Jones. She's a military veteran. We're rooting for her to become an awesome doctor someday or a physician's assistant, both very worthy careers. And I guess, Booker will have to be a PhD with your MD. That could stand for pretty happy dog, We could give Booker that label, right?
Yes, of course.
All right. And we want people to know that they can really help either with their time, money, or energy for continuing this pairing of great dogs with people that really need them through the canine support teams. Carol, can you let us know a little bit how we can help out?
Absolutely. We can be reached at 951-301-3625 or through the internet at www.canine, spelled out, support teams, 2 T's and an S, .org.
I'm glad you did that. That's good that you did that. We're talking now. Get the numbers, everybody. 951-301-3625 or dash over on the web at caninesupportteams.org, correct?
Correct.
Did I pass? Do I get a biscuit or a treat?
You get a biscuit.
All right. I'll have to share it with my 2 dogs, Chipper and Cleo. Before we leave, is there any message you would like to give? Let's start with you, Carol. What would be the biggest wish you have for our listeners?
The biggest wish I think I would have is that everybody would think of others as they're out doing their hustling and bustling around. And remember that we still have soldiers over in Afghanistan, Iraq, and we have people in wheelchairs with disabilities and children in need, and dogs can do so much, so very much. They are angels in disguise that can reach into the heart of man and women, and all we need is a little help to make all this happen.
Vanessa, what's your wish?
Well, my biggest wish is going to come true. My husband is coming home from Afghanistan after 11 months on Wednesday. So it's
Yay!
I'm extremely excited, and I can't wait for him to meet my dog. They haven't met. So I'm,
the other man in your life.
Yes, the other man in my life. So I'm hoping and praying that they get along. And I also have a brother who is a Marine, and extremely thankful to all the men and women who are still serving. And please have them in your thoughts and prayers. And just remember that some of them did not get to come home.
Okay, I understand. And let's get a shout out to your brother and your husband.
Yes, all my love to Gunnery Sergeant Kevin Jones and to Corporal Luis Lerma.
There's a good friend of mine whose name is Matt Kelly, and he's in Afghanistan right now, and his mom's in my fitness class where we work out with our dogs. And Matt is doing his, he was in Iraq and now he's in Afghanistan. So my wish is that Matt gets home safely, everybody gets home safely, and maybe dogs can teach us 2-leggers to stop growling and fighting, and let's just get along. I mean, seriously, folks, there's a lot of things we can learn from our pets, and that would be my humble wish on this planet, is to just put the guns down, pick up the leashes, and hug your dogs. I want to thank again Carol Roquemore, founder of Canine Support Teams, for being here, and Vanessa Jones. Give that Booker a big hug from me and my dogs, Chipper and Cleo. And I want to give a big paws up to my producer, Mark Winter. He is a genius. He is the Wizard of Oz behind this show. He makes things happen. So until next time, this is your flea-free host, Arden Moore, delivering just 2 words to all you 2, 3, and 4-leggers out there. Oh, behave.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do, and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. Oh Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand. This is the place for a special paparazzi treat. Only on PetLifeRadio.com.